Alright, today we're having a look at Ability Boy by PSVR World. Alright, so here we are in Ability World by PSVR underscore world underscore. It's looking like kind of a collectathon, Mario-esque. One of these levels that we've seen a number of times. I don't know why I can't jump, but apparently we're going to be getting some forms of power-up. And perhaps base jumping is one of those. Kind of weird to make base jumping a power-up, but we've got jump boots. Okay, I mean, cool with me. I don't know, why did I do that? I have no idea. And that's okay. We don't have a double jump. Alright, very good to know. I kind of got myself used to creators giving us a double jump and not telling us. And just assuming that we're always going to have a double jump, and that's clearly not the case. Alright, that's danger. Press circle to use your imp and press the button. Oh, that's kind of neat. Alright. I can kind of dig on that. I like that we do have the imp kind of sitting in our backpack. I think that's pretty cute. Oh no, yet. I mean, it's not quite grabbed me as a creation, but there is something interesting here to being able to play around with the imp and the character at the same time. And as far as gimmicks go, I think that's certainly a decent enough one. Do I need that? Also, these the circle with the arrows pointing out in my HUD. Do you think those are important? I mean, are there something I'm gonna need? Maybe? Okay. I mean, we got all of them. What do you think that means? What do you think that does? Can I use the... Oh my god, there's little fireworks. I can use the imp to do that. Oh, fancy pants. Okay. That increases my interest to no small degree. So it's not just a... It's not just a Wii gimmick, but it is something that maybe looks like it's gonna have... I don't know why the camera was spinning like that. Like, it's gonna have more utility throughout the creation, and that is kind of... Disco! Stop jumping in the water! That is kind of keen. I like that. There we go. Anything else? Oh. That was my fault. That was 100% my fault. Swung the camera when I shouldn't have been swinging the camera, and ran myself right into the water again. Whee! There was a nice little intro cutscene like this as well. I'll have to show you in the hub. We're not going to the hub yet. Don't worry, we still got time here. We got 1 minute and 44 seconds. Like, we're just screaming time. Time flowing from our fingertips. Our fingertips. I like this nice little overworld they do of the world itself. Oh, we don't have jump again. Do they strip us of our ability every single time that we start a stage? Because that would kind of, you know, suck a little bit. I guess we'll just have to deal with it. Okie dokie. I want those red coins, but I don't know that I want to do it right now. On account of I'll just be like plinking away at them forever. But there's a part of me that's like, get every bit, and I endeavor to do so. For you, the viewer, the delicate balance of showing you everything I possibly can, but also getting every little grabbable thing. It's hard. It's so hard. You have no idea. Okay, I'm laying it on a little bit thick there. Let's grab them, because we don't like have a lot of time. So maybe we could spend our time... Oh, get over here. Nice. Alright, I am kind of down. I'm not down with constantly running into water, but we're going to talk about that as well back at the hub. Oh, buggery. We're going to talk about it back at the hub right now, basically. See you there, see us. And we're back, and Ability Boy by PSVR World, and I would say it's actually a pretty solid yellow square. It's a really, really good creation. It's a very beefy creation. I do have some qualms about it, although some of those qualms rest on me as much as they do on the creation itself, but I think that you can get a lot of mileage out of it. Now, as we saw in the video, what we've got is 6 discrete stages in a World 1 kind of hub, and as you go through those, you're collecting all the coins, you're trying to get the, I don't know what you'd call those, it's like a circle with little arrows sticking off it. You get all 3 of those and the fireworks will go off, which is really kind of cool, and basically getting yourself from point A to point B. It's, as we said with a number of these types of levels, it's very reminiscent of early 3D platform collectathons, and I think it does a really good job with that. I liked the character model itself, and I thought it was really charming that the imp is actually riding in the backpack of the character model. I thought that was cute as heck. I don't know how that was accomplished necessarily. Someday these cameras, I swear. I don't know how that was accomplished exactly, but I think it was a really, really neat effect, and it added a certain amount of charm to the level, and it gave us a diegetic excuse for what I thought was one of the stronger points of the level, which was you could actually pop the imp out and use the imp to interact with buttons, use the imp to pick up red coins. You can pick up like a lot of the red coins just from the starting area by popping the imp out, because it's got range, it's got reach, it's pretty easy to get way back into the background and get those coins. And also you can use it to poke at enemies, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I did appreciate that, because a lot of times when I see levels that have the imp in the level, it kind of breaks the diegesis of the level. It's like, why is this imp here? Here we know imp is a friend of our Ability Boy and is riding around his backpack. I thought that was neat. Now I'm going to say something here, and you should mark your calendars. You should set this down, because it's something that I will probably almost never say. I think, as much as I dislike player-controlled cameras in 3D platformers, at least this level uses that camera to proper effect. I've mentioned before that I think really the only 2 good purposes of having a 3D camera, a player-controlled 3D camera in these types of platformers, is 1, to allow you to take a look at the wider environment and see the beauty of the wider environment. That's not on display here. Honestly, I think one of the kind of the down points of the level is that, visually speaking, it's not particularly strong. The camera's quite pulled back, and so you see a lot of the empty space in the surrounding world, like the skybox, and there's a little bit of water underneath, but I was talking about the positive side of the camera, because the other positive point of the camera is to use it to find secrets and work your way through puzzles and things like that. And there's a lot of that here, that if the camera had been locked in, a lot of those secret little fireworks dealies and the red coins and some of the buttons that you would have to press would not have been visible. And to have the camera set and locked would have made them obvious. So this kind of forces the player to hunt around for those things. And I think it's one of the first times I've seen in a Dreams level where that's been pulled off actually really quite well. So, I mean, good job, PSVR, because I never say that. Now, the basic gameplay conceit there, that you don't have any abilities till you find them, and I think that was handled for the most part really well. The first 4 levels, the first 4 stages of World 1, as it were, and the only ability that you're going to be working with is the basic jump ability. That was kind of weird to go through the beginning parts of those stages without any jump at all, but you get used to it pretty quickly, and then you could use the jump to kind of come back and get the stuff that you need. In stage 5, you get the first time, I think it's yes, stage 5 you get the beanie hat for the first time. The beanie hat will let you hold X after you've jumped, and will give you a little bit of hover, and it works for the most part pretty well. It opens up new areas like that. So that was actually pretty cool. I would be interested because it is like stage 1-1, stage 1-2, the implication there is that there will be a stage 2-1, stage 2-2. I will be interested to see what other types of abilities are implemented and how they are implemented in these stages. I would love to see more from this. You've got a boss fight, and the boss fight, it's kind of weird because it's at stage 1-4. You would kind of expect the boss fight to be at stage 1-6. Now, because the boss is like an octopus boss and there's some bombs and crabs going on there, it kind of makes sense where it comes, because stage 1-3 is a bit of a beach stage in a sense, so having the octopus come after that makes sense thematically. But it does feel weird for the flow of the level, because usually you would expect a later boss. Maybe there will be a stage 1-7, which will have kind of the final boss of the set. I don't know, but that would be kind of interesting. Now, I mentioned with the boss that there were crabs, and that was the one of the big points that I felt brought down the creation from a green circle to a yellow square. So we get to stage 1-3. It's this kind of desert stage, and I'm bopping along, and it's walking on sand, and I'm like, oh, that's really neat. The sand slows you down. That's kind of an interesting effect. And I do think that was a very cool effect. When you're running on the base grass or the rock, you're pretty quick. When you're running on the sand, you slow down. It makes a lot of sense. And then you get to a section with crabs. And definitely a cab. All crabs are bastards. These crabs are absolute bastards. What you're supposed to do, what you can do, you pull the imp out, you poke it with the R2, the crab with the R2, it'll put its claws up, so it'll pause, and then you need to get by it. The thing is that you don't really have a lot of time. Now, for myself, because I'm not particularly smart, I'm a squirrel, okay? Squirrels are not known for their huge intelligence. I was playing that section as though you would have to walk a little bit, pop out, hit the crab, walk a little bit, pop out, hit the crab. You barely have time to do that, and you have to be very precise with your imp, because the hitbox on the crab is very small. And once the crab wakes up, once it starts moving again, you can't actually put it back to sleep, because even if you knock it, even if you hit it back to sleep, it'll continue moving and kill your character. What you're supposed to do is knock the crab out, jump onto the stone patches, run across, jump again, and escape. But I probably spent 15 or 20 minutes just dealing with those crabs before it finally clicked in my brain. I think at the very least, making the hitbox, the grabbable portion of the crab, a little bit larger, and I've not played with that in Create, so I don't know how easy that is to implement. But I did find that section very, very frustrating indeed. If you're trying to creep along, which again is not the way that you're supposed to do that, but if you're trying to creep along, it's a very narrow, tight area, so you've got very, very little time to actually deal with Krabbykins himself. Just jump. Just jump and get through it much faster. Don't be foolish like me. Yeah, because that really slowed things down. This is a really beefy creation, and it took about 63 minutes to complete this creation. Now, as we said, a large portion of that was crabs, so that should be kept in mind, but I think that this might be a creation that would be good to follow, and play it maybe the first 2 stages, take a break, play some other things, come back to it, do another couple stages, take a break, a couple of other things. To play it through in all one big chunk, it does start to wear a little bit, and I think that's a little bit unfair to the creation itself. I don't know if this was intended by PSVR, but I think the enjoyment of the creation will be heightened if it's broken up. Don't feel like you need to do the entire thing in one fell swoop. But I actually just had a really great time with this one. It's very impressive what PSVR World has done here. I'm looking very much forward to see what they will do in the future, if they will expand on Ability Boy or not, or even if they don't, what other types of levels and what other types of creations that they'll put together, because this is pretty standout, honest to say. This is really, really standout. PSVR, you did an excellent job. Thank you so much for taking the time to bring this to the community, and we look forward to more from you in the future. But I think that pretty much does it for us this go about. So from me, Risco, here in Osaka, to all of you out there, wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.